nature of the West is simply not open for debate. That's not up to debate at all. The fact that their so-called civilization is just an elaborate cover-up of their primitivity is not open to debate. You don't go all around the world and rape and pillage and mass murder and steal and enslave and exploit and impoverish, destroy, loot, cheat, lie, oppress people, and leave every land worse off by you having been there, and leave every people worse off by their interactions with you, if you are an advanced and civilized people. You spread like a contagion on the earth, and that's a fact. Every place that you've been, and every people who ever encountered you, suffered because of you. And if you deny that, and of course you do deny that, but if you deny that, that's just symptomatic of the very same primitivity and lack of moral development, and the very same, as I say, contempt for humanity that allowed you to commit all your crimes in the first place. You negate the voices and the testimony of the victims the same way that you negated their humanity when you victimized them. You don't think that their cries should be heard. You didn't think that their cries should be heard when you oppressed them, and you don't think that their stories about your oppression should be heard now, because you never have changed, you never have developed. You're the same criminals today that you were then. And nothing makes that more obvious than your continued denial and your continued lack of accountability. It's an insult to the intelligence of the whole planet. I'm telling you, it's an insult to the intelligence of civilized people to even pretend that it's debatable that the West has been a pestilence upon the earth. No one needs to entertain that atrocious farce any longer. It's a vicious assault on human decency to not call Western so-called civilization exactly what it has been, which is a reign of terror. Nothing but a reign of terror. It's been a very dark and very strange and very savage chapter in human history, and that's the truth. So you have to comprehend this. You have to be aware of this. You have a very primitive culture. It's a very primitive animalistic psyche. And you have a contemptuous view about humanity and about human nature. You think that advancement in civilization means moving away from being human, from being natural. You think that the artificial is superior to the organic. Civilization for you is just scaffolding. It's procedural architecture. It's moralistic fakery, sleight of hand, trickery. And if you interrogate it with any degree of intensity, you'll see that. There's no way you can't see it. The language they use makes you think that complex thought is going on. But if you look and you listen just a little bit more carefully, you'll see that you're dealing with a people who are absolutely imposters. They're absolute imposters, intellectual imposters, moral imposters, frauds. They're absolute bumpkins pretending to be deep thinkers, honestly. The only thing that you're worried about, in reality, is losing what you only ever had because of that predatory, vicious system. That's the only reason that you're turning against the system. Not for moral reasons. No, you're turning against the system because the system is turning against you. That's the only reason, which means that you have not changed. Your response is not the response of a civilized people to a barbaric people. It's the response of weaker barbarians to stronger barbarians. I've told you that you have to understand the context that you live in, including the moral context and including the historical context, and I have tried to let you know what that context is. And now, if you understand the context, then you would also understand that if the weapons and the tactics of pillage and the tactics and the strategies of oppression and the weapons of oppression that you inflicted all around the world and that you benefited from, if those weapons and tactics now get directed at you, well, then you must understand that that is not only completely logical, but it is also entirely deserved. And if you think that your system has to be saved, and if you think that your country has to be salvaged, then you are still on the wrong side, I'm telling you. If they can be doing to you right now what they are doing to you right now, and you can know everything that they have done against the global south and are still doing against the global south, and you're still out here talking about change, you understand me? Talking about reforming the system or rehabilitating the system, trying to make the system better, you are not only delusional, you are not only gaslighting your own self, you are not only in denial about the reality of what your country is, what your culture is, and always has been, but you are also trying to prolong global misery. No, the self-destruction of the United States of America is by far the most deserved downfall in human history. No person with any sort of a conscience whatsoever would lift a finger to prevent it. And I'm telling you, it is an insult to every single person of every single nation that your country ever terrorized,
to every individual of every nation that your country ever robbed or exploited or massacred. It's an insult to everyone that they are oppressing right now and throughout their monstrous history. It's an insult to every enslaved ancestor of every African, to every ancestor of every Native American. It's an insult to the ancestor of every Filipino, every Hawaiian, every Puerto Rican, every Mexican. It's an insult to the people of Iraq, to the people of Afghanistan, to the Palestinians, and the list is endless. It's an insult to literally the hundreds of millions of Uncle Sam's victims for you to want to avert his punishment in any way whatsoever, because you have the gall to come here and tell us that he still has a good heart and there's a chance that he can change. No, the time for changing is over. No more second chances. That serial killer, Uncle Sam, is on life support and it's time to pull the plug.